I'm currently making a game with my dad called Brawlberry. And it's been a while since my last devlog, and a lot has happened. Mainly my dad completely abandoning our game to me. Can I ever make a game without him doing something? So, why did my dad abandon me? Well, it was for two reasons. The first of these is this thing called a new job. Like, what the hell even is this thing? And the second thing was... oh no. It's coming. The almighty newborn baby. So now that I was left in the endless abyss of unimplemented features, I decided to start doing something. The first problem to tackle was the never-ending time loop of fighting bosses. The obvious solution to this problem was a progression system. Basically, after every boss, you would enter a map that you choose between 3 bosses to fight next. Every boss would have randomized attacks, and the maximum amount of attacks they had was determined by how far through the map you were. This quickly got boring, and there was no real visual variety, so I added the next 3 changes. The first of these was a randomized tile set. I made 3 more of these, and some of these were abysmal. The reason for this was because I was trying out this AI pixel art thingy, but it was just not good at tile maps. Naturally, after randomizing the tile maps, I decided to also randomize the boss sprites with 2 more. Finally, I added these breakable objects that really add a lot to the game. This is one of the 2 things my dad reappeared to help make. The other thing he helped with was this blood, a jam splatter, which is actually really cool. The next thing I wanted to do was add something satisfying to the end of each boss. My brain immediately went to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate with this amazing animation. So I made a version of that, and I'll admit it's a bit scuffed, but I like it. So next, my good friend Zach told me that Brawlberry was the easiest game ever. So as any sane person would do, I spent hours making the most impossible difficulty ever. Don't worry though, it's just an option in the settings menu. Next, I wanted to add back the upgrade system after my dad removed it in the refactor. So I tried, and it didn't go smoothly. Brawlberry is a co-op roguelike dungeon crawler where every encounter is a completely unique boss fight. Unlock powerful upgrades with your friends as you battle through the fruitscape. Wishlist on Steam today, link in the description. Back to the video. So I remade the entire combat system from scratch. My main goal in making this system was to make combat actually fun, as at that point all you did was hold punch to win. After an entire project's worth of code, I was happy to start porting it to the main game. This also didn't go well. Finally, after reworking the combat system, I could finally start adding upgrades. And I gotta say, it paid off. This is the cleanest code I've ever written. In case anyone forgot it or is new here, we're ripping off Hades, so I kinda just yoinked their upgrade system. We've got a few different categories of upgrades. They're called flavors in-game, because it fits thematically. Each flavor has upgrades in it, which all combo off each other, so you can make some crazy builds. Next up was adding meta progression. I spent a long time trying to figure out how this was going to work. After a lot of thinking, I decided on a hub world which you could join multiplayer and buy various permanent upgrades. So, I got to work. After spending a very long time on this hub world, I was ready to add meta progression. Currently, there is only one type, but there will be more types of upgrades to get in the future. The one I have right now is called the Leaves of Power. Basically, you can pick between a few powerful upgrades to go with your run, and you unlock new ones as you go. I also have this cool menu for it. Since I decided to move the multiplayer to the hub world, I also had to redo the menu. This is the finished version of that. The final big change I made was an ending to each zone. It involves a very powerful handmade boss with some dramatic music and lashing rain. There's also this spooky cutscene. The super deep lore of the super bosses are there though. Now it's time for the quickfire round.
I added weather for even more visual variety. There are a few different types. I added music to the map because it was just silent before. I added this cool chromatic aberration shader to make everything look cool. I also redid the Steam assets, which is what you saw in the last trailer. And finally, I added a death screen. And after all of that, months of work, I present to you a full run of Brawlberry's first zone.